According to USDA data, foodborne illnesses tied to poultry are on the rise, with chicken remaining the #1 culprit behind hospital visits from contaminated meat. Millions of pounds of ready-to-eat meat, including chicken and turkey, were pulled from shelves across the country due to listeria contamination. Behind those plastic-wrapped packages, some grocery stores are quietly cutting corners, repackaging spoiled meat, and masking decay with marinades. Now let's ask yourself, how many times have you trusted a pack of chicken just because it looked fresh? What if that trust was misplaced? Your stomach doesn't care how pretty the label looks, and not every grocery store deserves your trust. Before you shop again, please pause for a moment and consider, do you really know what you're putting on your body? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And today we will reveal 7 biggest chains that you should never buy chicken from, and the reason behind that they want to hide from you forever. Number 1, Target. When you walk into a Target store, everything seems polished. Bright lights, spotless floors, rows of neatly organized products that make you feel like you're in good hands. But here's the truth that many shoppers never realize until it's too late. That comfort doesn't extend to the meat section, especially not the chicken. What looks safe and wholesome on the outside can be misleading once you dig a little deeper. And in today's world, where food safety is more important than ever, this becomes more than just an inconvenience but a potential risk. Target was never built to be a grocery store in the traditional sense. Its heart and soul lie in clothing, electronics, and household goods, not fresh produce or meat. So when they decided to bolt on a grocery wing to compete with full-service supermarkets, they skipped a critical step, building a proper cold chain infrastructure. Imagine asking a DJ to run a hospital's emergency room. Sure, they might play great music, but that doesn't mean they know how to keep someone alive. Their chicken products, especially the ones under their private label, Good and Gather, are a prime example. Many of these chickens are processed at the exact same facilities used by budget-tier brands you typically find at low-end discount stores. Same chicken, different sticker, yet at Target. You'll pay extra for that sticker. It's the culinary version of buying a used car with a new paint job. And let's not forget, marketing claims like all natural or no added hormones are often little more than smoke and mirrors. Federal law already prohibits hormones in poultry, so these labels are like advertising a swimming pool as wet. Then there's the troubling issue of how the meat is handled in store. Most high-quality grocery stores employ trained meat specialists who understand not just how to stock chicken, but how to check for spoilage, maintain hygiene, and rotate inventory correctly at Target. However, you're more likely to find staff who were arranging patio furniture yesterday now stocking raw chicken today. It's not their fault, it's the system. But when you're dealing with temperature-sensitive, easily contaminated meat, that kind of rotation becomes a real liability. It gets worse. Target has ramped up its sales of pre-marinated chicken, garlic herb, lemon pepper, honey chipotle, flavors that sound delicious but might be hiding something. These heavy marinades can mask the early signs of spoilage. The meat might feel slimy, but you won't smell it through the artificial aromas. It's like spraying cologne instead of taking a shower. You're not fixing the problem. You're just covering it up. Even the refrigeration systems used at Target don't meet the same standards as those in meat-focused grocery chains. Their display cases are designed to store multiple types of products, from fruit to deli meats, all requiring different temperatures. But one-size-fits-all cooling can mean that chicken sometimes sits a few degrees warmer than it should, and a few degrees might not seem like a big deal until someone in your family ends up sick on a road trip, and you can't trace it back to anything but last night's grilled chicken. Perhaps most worrying is the practice of thawing previously frozen chicken and then labeling it as fresh. This chicken is defrosted, placed on the shelf, and sold without any clear indication of its freezing history. Consumers are left guessing, and guessing wrong can mean health risks no one signed up for. In the end, shopping at Target feels good. It's clean, it's modern and pleasant. But don't let that false sense of security lull you into buying questionable poultry. You're not just paying for the chicken, you're paying for the floors, the displays, the atmosphere, and none of those things can protect your health. When it comes to chicken, Target's presentation masks a reality that should give every cautious parent pause. Next time you reach for that chicken breast, ask yourself, is it really worth the risk? Number 2, Walmart. Walmart is where America goes when they need everything in one stop. But if there's chicken in your cart, it might be time to pause and think twice. Because behind those flashing rollback signs and cheerful yellow smiley faces is a deeper concern that could hit your health. Let's start with the smell. Ever torn open a package of chicken from Walmart only to recoil in disgust, days before the expiration date? You're not imagining things. That swampy odor isn't a fluke. It's part of a much larger, more troubling issue rooted in how Walmart handles perishable food across its vast empire. Their expiration dates can feel less like safety markers and more like fiction. It's as if someone in the back room is playing a game of optimistic guesswork, hoping you won't notice that the chicken turned before the date ever arrives. At the heart of the problem is Walmart's massive distribution system. The scale of their operations, spanning thousands of stores and regional warehouses, may be efficient for canned goods or cleaning supplies, but it's dangerously ill-suited for raw poultry. Chickens aren't supposed to take tropical vacations, but in Walmart's supply chain, they practically do. From warehouse to transport truck to store, temperature consistency is more an aspiration than a guarantee. That means your fresh chicken might have spent hours, or even days, in a warming truck parked under a hot sun, before being chilled again and placed neatly in the meat case like nothing ever happened. Then there's the price tag. Walmart's famously low prices may seem like a blessing, especially when grocery budgets are tight. But with meat, especially chicken, those discounts often hide a bitter truth. Managers are under pressure to move product, so they'll frequently slash prices on older meat approaching spoilage. It's a desperate rush to sell before the smell gives the game away. You might feel like you're winning by scoring a deal, but it's a bit like hiring a dentist who moonlights as a magician. The results might surprise you, and not in a good way. Former employees have come forward to share unsettling behind-the-scenes practices. One of the most alarming rewrapping meat that didn't sell fast enough to make it look fresh again. It's not just rumor. The USDA has documented and cited Walmart locations for this exact behavior more frequently than many other national chains. This isn't food safety. This is food theater. Repackaging expired chicken is like resurrecting the dead, except there's no miracle here. Just meat you should have never seen again. And let's talk about lighting. Walmart's meat sections are bathed in bright white light with a subtle blue hue. That's not an accident. That lighting has one purpose: to make meat look fresher than it is. It's poultry in disguise, dressed up for the supermarket runway. But what looks rosy and plump under those lights might look dull and suspicious once you get it home under normal kitchen bulbs. It's like waking up from a dream, or worse, to a nightmare in your fridge. So the next time you see a big pack of chicken thighs for just a few dollars, ask yourself what you're really buying, because food poisoning doesn't care how much you saved. A night spent hugging the toilet isn't worth a couple bucks off your grocery bill. The real price of that chicken might come with cramps, fever, and a long, regretful sigh. In the end, Walmart might offer everything, but safe, reliably fresh chicken isn't always one of them. For families and seniors stocking up for the week, or anyone looking for peace of mind when they cook, that's a gamble not worth taking. Number 3, Dollar General. When you step into a Dollar General, you're usually not expecting luxury, just convenience. Maybe you're grabbing some cleaning supplies, snacks, or school supplies in a pinch. But in recent years, Dollar General has been expanding its food section, and that includes frozen chicken. The problem is, what's being sold in those freezers isn't just questionable, but actually downright risky. In fact, the situation with chicken at Dollar General is more like a high-stakes gamble than a grocery run. It's a game of freezer roulette, and no matter where the wheel lands, you rarely come out a winner. The truth is, frozen meat was never part of Dollar General's original plan. Their freezers feel like an afterthought, tucked away in the back, often limited to just a few small units crammed with everything from frozen dinners to desserts to meat. This overcrowding creates real food safety concerns. The constant opening and closing of the doors throughout the day causes temperature swings that force frozen items to thaw and refreeze repeatedly. Imagine a piece of chicken being yanked from a deep freeze to a thaw and back again, all in the same day. That kind of treatment turns your dinner into a breeding ground for bacteria, not to mention a ticking time bomb for your stomach. Unlike full-service grocery stores that build direct partnerships with poultry suppliers and enforce strict handling standards, Dollar General typically works through third-party distributors with very little oversight. This kind of indirect sourcing makes it harder to trace the origins, quality, and handling of the chicken being sold. Think of it like a long game of telephone. By the time the product reaches you, the safety information might be so garbled and unreliable, you wouldn't know what you're really eating. And then there's the packaging, or rather the lack of helpful information on it. Labels on Dollar General chicken products often read like cryptic riddles. Many don't clearly display processing dates, sourcing locations, or even recognizable brand names. Some are so vague. You'd think they were designed to confuse. Trying to make sense of one of these labels is like trying to decipher a message written by someone who fell asleep on their keyboard. Unclear at best, misleading at worst. To make matters worse, Dollar General has a documented history of serious food safety violations. In 2022, a store in Georgia was forced to discard over 800 pounds of meat after health inspectors discovered massive temperature control failures. These weren't minor issues. They found meat stored well above safe temperatures for extended periods. In essence, the freezers had become more like meat saunas, where bacteria could thrive with ease. That's not just concerning, but straight out dangerous. Let's also talk about the quality of the chicken itself. Many of the poultry products sold at Dollar General are injected with water and sodium solutions, sometimes making up as much as 15% of the total weight. That means you're paying for moisture, not meat. It's the equivalent of buying a concert ticket and realizing the band on stage is just a cardboard cutout with a Bluetooth speaker behind it. It may look like chicken, but it's hardly the real deal. Yes, the idea of picking up dinner along with your paper towels and dish soap might seem convenient, especially in rural areas or food deserts where options are limited. But when it comes to chicken, convenience should never outweigh safety. A discounted price means nothing if the product can't guarantee basic standards of health. Sometimes, the most expensive chicken is the one that's marked down. So, the next time you consider tossing a bag of frozen chicken into your cart at Dollar General, take a moment to think about where it's been and where it might take you. Because when it comes to foodborne illness, even the smallest shortcut can have the biggest consequences. Number 4, Family Dollar. Family Dollar might be the quick stop solution for everyday essentials in small towns and underserved neighborhoods. But when it comes to buying chicken from their freezer section, the cost of convenience could be far greater than you think, tucked between off-brand TV dinners and mystery meat patties. You'll find frozen chicken that raises more red flags than a storm warning. On the surface, it might seem like a simple way to stretch your grocery budget, but beneath that layer of frost lies a troubling pattern of poor quality, vague labeling, and health risks that many customers simply aren't prepared for. Let's start with the freezers themselves. Many Family Dollar locations were never designed to store perishable items in the first place. Their expansion into frozen food came as a retrofit, not a rebuild. This means the freezers are often small, outdated, and overfilled. With constant door openings, these units struggle to maintain consistent temperatures, leading to cycles of thawing and refreezing. Chicken subjected to that kind of abuse becomes a bacterial minefield, with pathogens like Salmonella and Listeria thriving in even short-term temperature fluctuations. Next, let's talk about supply chain oversight, or more accurately, the lack of it. Family Dollar sources its meat through budget-level distributors with minimal transparency. That means no clear tracking of where your chicken came from, how it was handled, or how long it sat in a warehouse before it ended up on your store shelf. This isn't just about low-cost sourcing, it's about losing control of the food safety chain. And in the world of raw poultry, that's a risk you should never have to take. Even more disturbing are the health violations tied to Family Dollar stores in recent years. In 2022, hundreds of stores were temporarily closed after an FDA inspection found rodents, droppings, and unsanitary conditions in one of their distribution centers. It's a haunting reminder that low prices often come at the expense of cleanliness and accountability. When a chain has to destroy thousands of products due to contamination, it casts a long shadow over every freezer aisle they operate. Then there's the labeling. Many of the chicken products sold at Family Dollar come under obscure private labels with vague ingredient lists and unclear processing dates. Labels may highlight low price points or large portion sizes, but rarely offer useful details about origin or quality. It's like buying a used car with no VIN number. You're flying blind. What's more, many of the frozen chicken products are injected with brine solutions to increase weight, meaning up to 15% of what you're paying for might be salty water. That cheap bag of chicken breasts, it might be doing more for your sodium levels than your savings. And once thawed, That watery, rubbery texture makes it nearly impossible to cook properly, especially for older Americans or those with sensitive stomachs. So yes, Family Dollar's chicken might be cheap, but it's a gamble, and not a small one. In communities where options are limited, the temptation is understandable, but when food safety is on the line, even a few dollars saved can cost you much more in the long run. For something as basic and vital as chicken, it's worth going the extra mile to shop somewhere you can trust. Number 5. Safeway. At first glance, Safeway feels like a trustworthy name clean stores, a familiar neighborhood presence, and a butcher counter that gives off the impression of personalized service. But take a closer look at their chicken section, and what you'll find beneath that polished image may leave you second-guessing your next meal, especially when you read the fine print on their packaging. Tucked away in small, easily overlooked letters are the words "solution added." It sounds harmless, even technical, but in truth, it's a quiet confession you're not getting what you think you paid for. That so-called solution can make up as much as 15% of the total package weight, which means when you pick up a 4-pound tray of chicken breasts, you're really getting closer to 3 pounds of actual meat and 1 pound of water, salt, and additives. Imagine buying a gallon of milk, only to realize someone had taken out a quarter of it and filled the rest with tap water and then still charged you full price. That's exactly what's happening here. The price tag doesn't shrink, but your meal certainly will, and shrink it does. Once that Safeway chicken hits the pan, reality sinks in. What looked full and plump in the package begins to shrivel and shrink during cooking. In some cases, customers have reported losing up to 25% of the volume by the time it's done. It's like watching a balloon deflate in slow motion. The anticipation turns into disappointment right before your eyes. That full tray of chicken you thought would feed the family now feels barely enough for 3 plates. Safeway's butcher counters may appear to offer a more premium or fresh option, but behind the scenes, it's not always what it seems. According to former employees, the same trays and packaging materials are sometimes reused across multiple shifts without proper cleaning. Sanitizing standards, they say, are inconsistent at best. Gaps in the system might be an understatement. Think more along the lines of Swiss cheese. There's more hole than process when handling raw poultry, especially in a public-facing butcher station. That kind of oversight isn't just careless, it's hazardous. Many customers have also complained about an odd smell coming from Safeway's so-called fresh chicken, often described as sour or slightly fishy. That's not a cooking issue or someone's imagination. It's spoilage, plain and simple. And no sell-by sticker or fancy butcher display can cover up what your nose knows. If the chicken smells like it belongs in a seafood market, nature's already giving you a warning step away from the skillet. Then there's the pricing. Safeway tends to position itself as a slightly higher-end neighborhood grocery store, and their base prices reflect that image. But here's the catch. Most of their member specials only bring the price of chicken down to what other grocery stores charge on an average day. So you're not really getting a deal. You're being offered the illusion of savings. It's like being charged extra for the privilege of paying normal prices. You're not buying better chicken, you're buying a brand story. And that story stopped matching reality a long time ago. In the end, Safeway still holds onto the image of quality from decades past, but the actual chicken inconsistent, overpriced, and sometimes downright unpleasant. From saltwater injections to questionable handling and deceptive pricing, Safeway's poultry aisle is a reminder that nostalgia can't replace standards. For something as basic and essential as chicken, your money and your health deserves better. Number 6. Aldi. Buying chicken at Aldi is like flipping a coin. Some days, you get a decent, affordable pack that cooks fine. Other days, you open the package and smell something foul, feel a strange, sticky texture, or see unsettling discoloration. It's not consistency, it's gambling. And when it comes to raw chicken, gambling with your health is never worth the risk. The inconsistency starts with Aldi's supply chain. Unlike larger national chains that work with uniform poultry suppliers across all locations, Aldi contracts different chicken processors depending on the region. This means the chicken you find in a Michigan store could come from a completely different source than the chicken in a Florida store. The result, wildly inconsistent quality depending on where you shop. Customers across the country have reported strange odors, odd textures, and sometimes even green or gray spots on their Aldi chicken. At best, it's unpleasant. At worst, it's dangerous. Aldi's aggressive cost-cutting only adds to the problem. Their low staffing model and ultra-streamlined operations leave very little room for careful cold chain management. Chicken is a highly perishable product that needs constant refrigeration, but with so few employees to monitor temperature control and product rotation, it's easy for standards to slip, and when perishable meat is not handled properly, it becomes a serious food safety risk. The company has also faced multiple chicken-related recalls in recent years. One of the more concerning incidents involved bone fragments found in packages labeled as boneless chicken breasts. That's not just misleading, it's a choking hazard. Mistakes like that are more than just frustrating. They can be downright dangerous for families, especially elderly consumers or children. Then there's the packaging. Many of Aldi's chicken products come vacuum sealed or shrink wrapped in thick plastic. While that may keep things tidy, it prevents you from inspecting the product properly. You can't check the color, smell, or texture until you're already at home, and by then, it may be too late. Another issue is labeling. Some chicken packages list the plant of origin, but others use vague, generic branding that offers no clear traceability. If there's a problem with the product, figuring out where it came from or how it was handled is nearly impossible. That lack of transparency is alarming, especially in today's food safety landscape where consumers want to know exactly what they're eating. Aldi's prices may look attractive on the surface, and for dry goods or canned items, it might be a great place to save. But when it comes to meat, especially raw poultry, the unpredictable quality and lack of oversight turn those savings into potential health costs. What you save on the shelf might come back to haunt you at the doctor's office. Chicken should be a safe, dependable staple. At Aldi, it's anything but. Number 7, Food Lion. Step into a Food Lion and make your way toward the meat department. You'll quickly get the sense that it was added as an obligation, not a priority. Like when someone tacks on world peace at the end of a beauty pageant answer, it sounds good, but lacks substance. The meat section, particularly when it comes to chicken, often feels like the forgotten corner of the store. The appearance might be clean enough, but behind the scenes lies a troubling reality that's left many customers second-guessing their purchases and sometimes their stomachs. One of the biggest issues plaguing Food Lion is their outdated refrigeration systems. In many locations, the coolers and meat cases look like relics from another era. Former employees have joked that the equipment belongs in a retail history museum, sitting between old cash registers and handheld price stampers. But the joke wears thin when those old machines struggle to keep temperatures within the safe range. When dealing with raw poultry, even a few degrees off can mean the difference between safe food and a bacterial hazard. The problems extend to Food Lion's supply chain, especially in the southeastern United States. Several of their distribution centers have been cited for improper temperature control during transit, in a cold chain that's supposed to keep meat chilled from processing plant to store shelf. Food Lion's version includes way too many weak points, like a dollar store necklace that falls apart under light tension. According to former employees, the problems don't stop when the chicken reaches the store. During busy periods, chicken products often sit in rolling carts in back rooms for hours, waiting to be stocked. This limbo zone is dangerous. The chicken is too warm to be safe, but not warm enough to be fully spoiled yet. It's the kind of oversight that invites bacteria like salmonella to make itself right at home. Packaging is another issue. Some of Food Lion's chicken arrives pre-packaged from processors, while other items are wrapped in store using whatever supplies happen to be available. This lack of consistency is concerning. A meat safety report from 2023 revealed that Food Lion had one of the highest rates of meat spoilage complaints per store among major grocery chains in the country. That's not a record to be proud of. It's a flashing warning sign for customers who value their health. Frequent 3-day meat sales may seem like great deals at first glance, but they often raise more questions than excitement. Are these discounts signs of smart promotions or a last-minute push to offload aging inventory before it spoils? Either way, it doesn't inspire confidence. Food Lion's meat department employees are also part of the issue, with high staff turnover and very little specialized training. Many workers lack the knowledge to identify signs of spoilage or contamination. As one employee noted, the training they received was barely enough to build an IKEA shelf, except now. The stakes include food safety, not furniture. While Food Lion remains a convenient option in many neighborhoods, especially in rural areas, the quality of their chicken is questionable at best. It's a reminder that convenience often comes with hidden costs, and in this case, those costs might hit a few hours after dinner. when it comes to raw chicken. Safety should never be an afterthought. Unfortunately, at Food Lion, it all too often is. When it comes to chicken, saving a few dollars can cost you far more in the long run. The cheapest option might bring the biggest regrets in doctor bills, stomach pain, or ruined meals. That's why knowing which stores to avoid is just as critical as knowing how to spot quality. In the end, your health is worth more than a bargain.